Margaret J. Wheatley, Leadership and the New Science, Discovering Order in a Chaotic World. Embark on a journey that explores the complex notion of leadership through the insightful lens of Margaret J. Wheatley's book, Leadership and the New Science, Discovering Order in a Chaotic World. This summary delves deep into the intricate relationship between leader, followers, and situation, as well as the rational and emotional factors that form the essence of leadership. We debunk prevailing myths about leadership and examine the role of power and ethics in shaping a leader's character and effectiveness. By the end of this captivating summary, you will grasp the importance of personal values, traits, and the nuanced dynamics that exist in leadership, empowering you to cultivate your own leadership skills.
What leadership really is. Leadership involves complex relationships between leaders, followers, and situations. There is not a single definition of leadership, and scholars view it as both a science and an art. Emotional balance is crucial for leaders, and they need to be humble and persevere when necessary. Finally, leadership relies on followership. Leadership is not simply about gaining a title or position. It involves a complex relationship between leaders, followers, and situations. Even scholars who conduct leadership research often disagree on what leadership really means. The various definitions of leadership show that it is a multifaceted concept that requires us to appreciate the many factors at play and understand different perspectives. Additionally, followership cannot be separated from leadership. There is no distinct line between the two. Scholars view leadership as both a science and an art, with literally thousands of research studies focused on it. However, being an expert on leadership doesn't necessarily make you a good leader, and it's important to recognize that emotional balance between rational and emotional factors is key. Emotions have the power to inspire people to follow a leader or to be used negatively, resulting in group mindlessness. Good leaders need to act with confidence and perseverance, but they also need to recognize when others' views are useful and when a new direction is required. Leaders must also rely on followership, as top executives list qualities they admire in both leaders and followers, and leaders like to see some measure of dependence in their followers. In conclusion, leadership is a multifaceted concept with complex relationships, emotional balance, and a reliance on followership. The truth about leadership. Leadership has been glorified throughout history, but many myths obstruct our leadership development. Effective leaders possess traits such as the ability to influence their followers and convey stately dignity. The world has seen countless forms of leadership, with viable ways to lead depending on the situation. The level of loyalty that leaders receive from their followers depends on how they achieve their leader status. Workers who share a leader's goals and values are more likely to go the extra mile. Followers also play leadership roles, and their expectations, personality traits, maturity levels, motivation, and levels of competence affect the leadership process. Finally, it might be useful to distinguish between the functions of leadership and management, but still develop them in the same individuals. Walt Disney's leadership style. Walt Disney's reputation as an effective leader can be attributed to his unrelenting commitment to quality, willingness to take risks, and his keen eye for talent. His leadership was not defined by his position, but his ability to inspire and foster creativity in his team. Disney trusted his intuition to gauge the appeal of his productions among all ages and saw the value in experimenting with new ideas. Although he lacked social skills, he closely supervised all aspects of his business to ensure it met his high standards. Disney's success was due in part to his complementary relationship with his brother Roy, who managed the financial aspect of the Disney company. However, after Walt's death, the company struggled to find a visionary leader and under Roy's solitary leadership, produced formulaic works for decades. Overall, Walt Disney's leadership style was characterized by his unwavering dedication to excellence and his unique ability to bring out the best in his team. The many faces of power and influence. Leadership, power, and influence are multifaceted concepts that can be affected by many situational factors, including rewards, coercive measures, and crises. In Leadership, Theory and Practice, Peter G. Northouse discusses how exceptional bosses can be role models for putting values into action. The book shows that leaders have the ability to influence their followers' behaviors and attitudes, but followers can also employ power to influence their leaders through protests, strikes, and other measures. Moreover, different kinds of power, such as coercive and charismatic, could be used positively or negatively. The book emphasizes that power and influence are not intrinsic characteristics of leaders, but are functions of the leader, the followers, and the situation. Uniforms, for example, have long been connected to authority and status, and can heighten a leader's power and influence. Likewise, transformational and charismatic leadership styles are forward-looking, and often linked to a clear vision. However, the importance of a vision extends beyond grand social movements and can also apply to everyday situations in businesses. While rewards could motivate followers to some extent, they might also cause problems if followers do not value them as much as the leader assumes. In some cases, bureaucracies surrounding leaders can hinder their accomplishments, even for simple tasks. The book provides an amusing anecdote about Jimmy Carter's struggle to get rid of a dead mouse in the Oval Office. Overall, the book shows that leadership, power, and influence are complex concepts that are subject to various forces. Exceptional bosses, as models, can inspire followers to put values into action. The book is a must-read for anyone interested in understanding and improving leadership skills. Ethical leadership. Ethical behavior is vital for leaders, and they must lead by example. Unfortunately, many leaders engage in unethical behavior, including actions that are legal but not right. A leader's ethics and values impact how they handle various job responsibilities, including problem-solving and team-building. Followers' needs are also essential, as leaders must cater to their physical survival, security, affiliation with others, self-esteem, and self-actualization. Leaders and followers have differing perspectives on ethical issues and values, and stereotyping according to gender, race, religion, and other factors can create significant advancement obstacles for certain groups. A leader's lack of character always catches up with them in the end, leading to low employee morale, bad public image, and organizational chaos. In conclusion, good leadership demands that leaders do what's right rather than what's easy. Only mediocre thinkers rise to the top in systems that won't tolerate wave-making. Leaders who meet the moral challenges of their day and lead with integrity leave a lasting impact. Leadership through growth. Developing leadership skills requires practice, experience, and a willingness to learn and grow even in unfamiliar situations. The key to effective leadership lies not in what we know, but how we behave when facing uncertainty. Though the business world is always changing, the qualities of a successful leader have remained the same.
As we wrap up the enlightening summary of leadership and the new science, it becomes evident that leadership is not a mere title or position, it is a multifaceted relationship between leader, followers, and situation. Leaders must strike a delicate balance between rational and emotional factors, navigate power dynamics, and adhere to strong ethical values to be effective. Personal traits, charisma, and knowing when to be a follower also contribute to a leader's success. Bear in mind that there are many diverse and viable approaches to leadership, depending on situational context. Ultimately, leadership encompasses a continual learning process, where the constant pursuit of growth and change eventually leads to becoming a better leader.